Welcome to Inspired Women, Amazing Lives podcast, where we seek to thrive, flourish, and celebrate amazing women like yourself. Kimberly Wiggins here, and we are hosting inspired women who are sharing their lives and stories so that other women may know that the journey to their amazing life is definitely within reach. We are here every week to share resources and information that will help you along the journey to being that inspired woman leading an amazing life. Remember to like and comment and most definitely share these episodes with another woman that you admire and one who truly inspires you. Or simply share with someone you would like to inspire. Enjoy. Welcome to Inspired Women, Amazing Lives podcast. And I have a real treat for you today. For a lot of you women out there that I've been talking to recently who've been struggling with health and weight issues, I have someone here today who can really speak to that, especially as entrepreneurial women. I have Dr. Lindsey Elmore. How are you?
Oh, very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Oh, it's totally my pleasure. I think it's going to be a huge treat for the women here today. And so let me introduce Dr. Elmore. She is a speaker, an author, and a world-renowned wellness expert. She translates complicated science and business into understandable stories. I like that. And travels the world educating audiences about natural wellness. So great to have you.
Thank you.
Yes. So, Lindsey, one of the things I always like to start with is talking about that journey. What has brought you to this journey? I know you're doctor of pharmacy, and you are in the wellness space. So tell us what brought you to this journey.
So even as a little kid, I always wanted to teach. That was always where my passion was. And so I've always had a desire to teach other people. And so I originally wanted to be an actress and a singer and a dancer and all those good things. And so I took a lot of acting classes, which you would think wouldn't help you as a scientist, but honestly, it teaches you voice and diction. It teaches you how to present yourself. It teaches you how to have confidence in unknown situations, which helps with the entrepreneurial side as well. So studied all of that growing up, first got a degree in chemistry and competed in the Miss Alabama pageant. And so that also put me on stage in front of people, having to learn how to take rapid fire questions from interviewers, etc. And then I started to travel. I always had a heart that took me away from my hometown. You know, my family has been in Alabama since the late 1700s. Like, we are as Alabama as they come. And my family they just stay. But I always had a heart to go elsewhere. And so I moved from Birmingham, Alabama, where I was born and raised, out to San Francisco. And that's where I went to pharmacy school. And yeah, my family was like, "You can't move to California." And I was like, "Oh, watch me. I'm going. I'm totally going." And so I move out there, and just continued this journey of wanting to be really, in my heart of hearts, this actor, this performer. And I just figured out, because, I was raised by a single mom, and she always said, you can't just be an actor. Like, it's too hard of a life. It's too much. She's like, you got to have a real job. And she was a nurse, had always mentored me in science. I always liked science. And so it's almost like what I did in this entire journey was just figure out how to make science entertainment. Oh. And so Yeah, I just figured out how to perform science and became a pharmacist. Love the practice of pharmacy, love the profession of pharmacy. But I was always that kind of wacky pharmacist who didn't take any medicines myself. I was always encouraging people to get off of medicines. I was so interested in how do you actually help someone change their life? How do you facilitate if you've got someone in front of you who says, I'm ready for the change, I want to do the hard stuff, how do you help them? And then just by whatever serendipity there was, I kept seeing people post on Facebook that essential oils will change your life. And I was like, these people are crazy because I've had essential oils and not a single one of them has changed my life. And then lo and behold, I got some essential oils and I sat in my living room floor and I became instantly transfixed by them. I started using them in the diffuser and on the top of my head. And I started even ingesting them right away. Like I was fearless the instant that I got my hands on essential oils. And since then, I have spoken on stages in over 30 countries about essential oils, supplements, natural wellness. As you mentioned, I've talked about weight loss and how to really embrace who you are as a part of the journey that it takes to live in your body, which is all that it's about. It's about not covering yourself up with layers. And that has gave me the opportunity to 2 years ago start my own education company. And I have since published books and now have an educational website and still continue to travel speaking about essential oils and supplements.
Wow, that is quite a story. So you, like myself, Lindsey, are a Southern girl.
Yes.
At heart, yes. I was born and raised in South Carolina, so I know what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever wants to leave where they're from in the South.
Yes.
There.
Because what would the neighbors think?
Yeah.
What will the neighbors think?
So, wow, that is an amazing, amazing journey that you've had. There's so much in there that I want to talk about. So here's where I want to start, though. I asked you to complete some information for me, and what you sent me back was this statement, and I thought it was so profound. You said, today women are bombarded with too many options about health, what to eat, what to drink, what supplements to take, how much to exercise, and more. Women in business have it even worse because we are faced with complex unknowns. The fact of it is women are amazing at owning our own health when we get out of our own way. Oh my gosh, that spoke to me so much. So you said, let's talk about a practical approach to making decisions. That statement was like, I got chills. Even reading it again just now, I just got chills.
Thank you.
Explain to me a little bit more about that statement so my audience can get those same feelings I got. I felt like you gave me a get out of jail free card.
I mean, here is the thing. We are all born these perfect little vessels of human beings, and women especially spend the rest of our lives telling ourselves that we're not good enough, that we're not pretty enough, that we're not the right body shape, that our relationships aren't good, that we're not doing enough. Good Lord, do we tell ourselves that we're not doing enough? But here's the thing. We so often, because women are taught not to be ambitious. Women are taught to be ambitious for marriage and families, and that skews our perception because that means that we stay in that bad relationship because, oh my gosh, if I don't get married, what if I'm that old maid? It means that we choose partners that perhaps aren't right for us. And I think that women very early on are taught to ignore our intuition in favor of societal norms. And women get told that our intuition is not good enough. But the fact of it is, our intuition is our greatest guide and our greatest teacher. It's like Marianne Williamson said, so many of us think that we're not powerful, that we think we're scared that we don't have power. But Marianne Williamson said, no, what we're actually most afraid of is that we're powerful beyond measure. And isn't that just the truth? If we step back and go, all right, I've got this complex health decision to make. So and so on the internet says this, and so on the internet says that, and my cousin from down the street says this, and my friend who I work with says that. And we listen to all of their opinions, and we don't actually tap into, what do I want? Like, what is clearly within me that I want? We end up making decisions that don't serve our highest and greatest good. We end up making decisions that are based on other people's needs and wants. And so when it comes to taking a practical approach, no one is undervaluing that there are lots and lots of complicated decisions that we have to make throughout our lives. I mean, if you think about someone who has just been diagnosed with cancer, what do you do with that? Do you take the chemo? Do you not? Do you change your diet? Do you not? But if we think about, okay, what do I want long term? What do I really, really want long term? When it comes to your health and wellness, if you've just been diagnosed with cancer and long term, you say the number one thing I want is to be there at my son's wedding. And that may lead you to say, you know what, I'm going to do the aggressive chemo. I'm going to do the more assertive treatments, whatever it is. But if your goal is different and you go, you know what, I'm 78 years old. I feel like I've lived a great life. I've enjoyed my grandchildren. Whatever it is, we just have to know what we want. And then the next step in making really empowered decisions, and let me take one step back. The beginning with the end in mind also works for your business. I heard somebody say one time, I think it was Rachel Hollis in one of her books, wrote that she always kept a photo of a beachfront property in Hawaii. That was always her dream, was to own a vacation home in Hawaii. And when you have that long-term vision of like, wow, this is what I'm working for, it makes the days like I had earlier this week where it's like, okay, I hate accounting. I am not an accountant. I am a performer, but I had to close books. Well, the fact that I know that I am on a bigger mission than just the payroll taxes that I'm having to deal with keeps you focused on the end game. And so beginning with the end in mind, and then I think the next thing women need to stop doing is listening to everybody under the sun's opinion. And this is especially true when it comes to natural health and wellness. You think about a certain supplement, you can find anything you want about that supplement on the internet. It works, it doesn't work. It's going to kill you, it's going to make you live forever. So when we think about information overload, we've got to think about, where is that information coming from? Is it any good? And at the end of it, you've got to just stop reading and start listening to yourself. And then I also think it's important in both health and in business to remember not everything's going to go right the first time, So the kind of the third step after we've started with our end goal in mind, and then we stop the information overload and start to listen internally. The third step here is just to play with it. If you don't get it right the first time, that's okay. And I'm not being flippant. I understand that some health and wellness decisions they're heavy. They're heavy duty. You can't just try and play again if you're dealing with stage 4 breast cancer. But for most of the health and wellness decisions in our lives, it's not grave. It's, do you drink an extra glass of water or do you drink a soda? It's simple stuff that we can play around with. Do you like this food or not? And that's very easy. Then step 4, really listen internally to your body, listen to that intuition. Step 5 is, you've got 2 different sections of your brain. So there are 2 different sections of your brain. The first section is the cortex. That's the newer part of the brain. This is where our executive function is. This is where we like spreadsheets, where we plan weekends, we plan vacations. But there's another part of our brain that is very, very ancient, and it is where our emotions, our intuition, and our sense of smell is housed. And so it's interesting. There have been studies where if you sit someone down and you say, okay, you have to buy a new house. I need you only using your rational part of your brain, only use the cortex of your brain. So that would be things like the location of the home. How much does it cost? How many bedrooms does it have? All of that. But then what we see in these studies is that humans are terrible at making decisions based on that part of our brain. Right. Humans are much better at making decisions based on our instincts and our intuition. And so if you think about a house, you can sit all day long and sit down and go, it's in the perfect neighborhood. The price point is great school systems for my kids. It's right by church, all of those things. But yet for some reason, that other house that's in that weird neighborhood that you've never heard of, you just want to be there. That's the differences in this part of your brain. And this, when we use only our cortex to make decisions, we end up facing what's called analysis paralysis, where we just get so caught up that we just can't do it. And so then there just comes a point where you have to decide. And here is where I think at step 7 is where so many women fail. Women get told all of the time, you made the wrong decision. And I'm like, it is time for us to all stop the shame, especially when it comes to health and wellness. I mean, my goodness, the online debates about vaccines. You vaccinated your kids, you did not. Those are mean discussions. The fact of it is, what is right for one person is not right for another person. I like to tell people the other person isn't wrong. They just aren't you. It doesn't make them wrong. And so we as a culture need to stop shaming one another about the decisions that we make and understand that there's really no right choice. There's not really a wrong choice. There's only your choice that you made. As long as it doesn't hurt someone else, it's legal, it's ethical. As long as it's right for you and your family, it's the right choice. That's all there is to it.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Oh, you gave me so much there. And so is this your, I think there were 7 steps, right?
Yep.
Is this your 7-step approach to really making the right decisions when it comes to your health?
I mean, it's a decision-making guide that can be applied to health and wellness. It can be applied to business. It can be applied to anything. What I really want to drive home to women is that you are powerful beyond measure. Own it, and don't let anybody tell you that you're wrong.
Absolutely. I so resonate with that. That is beautiful. I love that. It's kind of like a framework for us to work within to be able to make those kinds of decisions. And like you said, it can be used in wellness and business. It just really speaks to us as women, and it's blocking out all of the noise from what we've gained from society to help us just center ourselves in a way. That process can help us do that so that we can make those better choices.
Absolutely.
Yes. I'll tell you, Lindsey, I was just kind of faced with some decisions to make concerning my health. I had worked out in a gym with a trainer for so long, and I had, I'd always ran and walked, and I did a lot of physical activity. Well, I stopped about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I continued to walk. Basically, that's all I was doing, but so much of it was so high impact that I really felt like my body was not in alignment with it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm 53, and I was beginning to feel like I'm beating up my body. I said, my body,
Right.
really out of alignment with that. Well, then about 2 months ago, I said, okay, I got to get back to doing something. I know as I get older, I need to, keep my body strengthened. So I went back and talked to the guy at the gym, talked to the trainer. And just this week, Lindsey, I was supposed to start at the gym. But
Mm-hmm.
guess what happened? My
Tell me.
intuition kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
And my intuition said, Kim, you do not want to do this to your body again. It just was not in alignment with what I wanted to do.
Right.
And then I was talking to a friend of mine about how I really internally, I just was not feeling this. And you know what she said to me? She said, have you tried Pilates?
Uh-huh.
And I said, no. She said, Pilates sound like it would be perfect for you. It's low impact. It strengthens your muscles somewhat. It gives you those nice long lean muscles. It tones you. You get a really good workout.
But you're not beating yourself up about it.
Right. And I said, no, I've never thought of it. And she said, try it. And so next week I have a class scheduled.
Oh, see, that's amazing. And I mean, I think the best part of that story is you knew yourself well enough and then were brave enough to say no to something that you had once done that once was beneficial for you is now not. And that's just evolution and growth. And the fact that you knew yourself well enough to go, I don't want to go back to the kickboxing classes that I took in my 20s and 30s. You know what I mean?
Yes, you're right. It's just me being able to, I gave myself permission to say no, because, I'm listening to this trainer and he's saying all the benefits, and he's like, really, I can see how I can transform your body and all this. And I told him, I said, I do want my body transformed because I do want it to be a little better, but I'm not, I just really wasn't feeling it. So you're right. It's like I give myself permission to say no.
Right. And, I mean, I think that there are lots of people who do really well with CrossFit and the really high intensity workouts. I am not one of them because I don't want to put my body at risk for injury. I want to do things slowly and methodically and with intention and with care, so that, the great thing about practices like Pilates, like yoga, is that you discipline your mind as well as your body. And you do get a sense of discipline from high impact cardio aerobics, because it takes discipline to show up to those classes too. But especially in yoga, you're getting the benefits of the breath awareness in both yoga and Pilates. Mm-hmm. And especially when it comes to yoga, you're talking about getting blood pressure reductions, reduced anxiety, reduced amounts of cortisol. And so you're calming your body and also supporting its physical fitness and not putting your joints at so much risk and not putting your heart, honestly, at so much risk as well.
Wow, that's nice to know. Yeah, that's what I felt like. I would be really taxing my joints. So yeah, that's great to know. Now, can you tell us, you mentioned something about your essential oils journey.
Yeah.
And that's a journey that I've not taken yet, but I've thought about it so many times. So tell us, what is it about essential oils that has made that big difference in your life? Why do you feel it is so beneficial?
Well, that the way that you ask the question answers the question. How do you feel? Because, some people get very cerebral. They get very much in their head. But essential oils have really been used for thousands and thousands of years. And we use them because, number one, we're attracted to the scent of them, but they also do so much for our bodies. They transform emotions. They can help you to focus. They can help you to sleep. They transform our neurotransmitters and our hormones. So that ancient portion of your brain where your intuition and your emotions and your hormones are housed, the only sense that it understands is the sense of smell. All of your other senses are in the cortex. So your audition, the hearing is in your cortex that's right here. Your occipital lobe is where you've got your vision. Your sense of touch, of course, is a tactile thing. And then your sense of taste is really throughout the mouth, is where our conscious perception of taste comes from. But this ancient portion of the brain, it doesn't understand language. It doesn't understand written word. It doesn't understand anything other than emotions, hormones, and smells. If you think about it, we've all had the experience of smelling something and it reminding you of your grandma's kitchen at Christmas, or smelling something that reminds you of your mom baking fresh bread. We have those scent memories from childhood. And those scent memories are very powerful because it's almost impossible to forget them. You can forget something that you heard, you can forget something that you see, but you will never forget the smell of what puppy breath smells like. You will never forget what, clean hair smells like. You'll never forget those things. You'll never forget what rotten food smells like, right? And that's because our sense of smell is there to protect us. So I think people undervalue how much power you can have in your life using your sense of smell. Believe it or not, the sense of smell is the largest known gene family in the human genome. 3 to 5% of humans' entire genetic code is dedicated to the sense of smell. There are olfactory receptor genes on 20 of our 21 chromosomes, and they're just everywhere. The sense of smell is everywhere. And scent receptors actually go all throughout the body. So you actually have scent receptors on your skin, in your liver. They're not actually causing you to smell, but they are identifying those scent compounds. And so from a scientific perspective, essential oils fascinated me. But from a practical perspective, they're just so darn useful. You can use them all over your home. Let's say your kid gets gum on the floor. Lemon oil will take the gum right off. If you have duct tape residue where you have done paint or whatever, lemon, take it right off. Frankincense has been used for thousands of years to help reduce the appearance of wrinkles. Lavender, put it on your skin to help you recover from a sunburn. Essential oils are just so useful. They go in every single area of your life.
Wow. I did not know that. Wow, wow, wow. So now you've really piqued my interest in essential oils. I know that you mentioned that you have a collection called The Club.
Yep.
And tell us some more about that, because I know, I I peeked through there a little bit, but I want to dig deeper, because what I really want to see is some of the things you just kind of mentioned about essential oils. What are those things, that affects my smell and, my perception of things? What is it? And also, what are the practical uses I can use it for?
Okay, so all of my travel and education and learning and all of that led me to decide to create the club, which is a large collection of essential oil and supplement education. It is primarily focused around a company called Young Living, which is the company's essential oils that I use. And so if you've never heard of Young Living, it's a great place to learn about the essential oils and the supplements that I am most highly aware of. And so inside the club, there is specific information about Young Living's product lines, but then there's also very approachable health and wellness education, because so many people, they want to use an essential oil in their daily life, but they're a little bit nervous to do it, especially people who are on any kind of medications or have disease states. And so I wanted to make things simple. I like to say I'm sassy science made simple, because there's so much misinformation out there, and there are so many people with ridiculous understandings of what health and wellness is, that I can't do anything except laugh at it. And so I put together education on this site that goes through how to use an oil, but also like, how do you use an oil if you're on a blood thinning medicine? What if you have high blood pressure? What do you need to look out for? There's a lot of concern about the use of essential oils in people who have epilepsy. So we cover that. We cover all of that in-depth science information. And then all throughout my blog, if you've never used an oil or you've never used a supplement, come and check out my blog, because there are dozens of DIYs. There are, I don't know, we just came out of Mercury retrograde and people were all saying like, praise the Lord, we're out of it. And so there's roller blends to help you get through things like Mercury retrograde. And we have information on which essential oils to use with each sign of the zodiac. And so just breaking it down different ways so that people can just, again, essential oils are about playing. It's just about playing and bringing them into your daily life. And so if you've never used an oil, you could start with something like a diffuser, turning on a diffuser so that your home environment starts to take on this new aroma. You also can use the essential oils. If you got kids that are bringing in stinky gym bags, just put some oils in there. Use them in your cleaning routine. We actually use it. So I live here in an old building in Harlem, and so you're in New York City, you're gonna have mice. If you're anywhere in the world, you're gonna have mice. And we actually every night we spray the countertops with just a little. We've got cotton balls in strategic places and just a little bit of peppermint. And we haven't had any mice since we moved in. We saw them when we first moved in, and then it's like, okay, let's just use a bit of peppermint oil. And you can use them out in the sun. You can use them at bath time. I mean, think about it. This is such a cute study. So there was a study where they took infants and they put half the infants in a bath containing grapeseed oil and lavender essential oil. And then they put half of the babies in just a grapeseed oil bath. And the babies that were bathed in the lavender essential oil laughed more during bath time. They made better eye contact with their mothers as they were being bathed. Once they got out of the bath, they went to sleep faster and stayed asleep longer. And the moms had lower levels of cortisol in their blood. Well, who doesn't want a kid that sleeps a little bit longer? And if all it takes is a couple of drops of some lavender oil in a bath to make it happen, well, I want that in my life. I want easy solutions that just make the environment around my home more approachable and more gentle and more soothing.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I've gotten so much out of this interview already, just personally. because when you mentioned lavender oil, you mentioned two things that my daughter-in-law can actually use it for right now. She got sunburned last weekend.
Yep.
And she has an 8-month-old that will not stay asleep.
Yes.
So she can put a couple drops of that in the bath water and probably get a whole lot of benefit from that.
Put a couple drops in the bath water, put a diffuser in the kids' room. You can spray the bed linens with some sprays containing essential oils. They really are useful in every area of your life.
That is very nice. Oh, wow. Now I'm excited about essential oils.
Yeah.
Something else for me to study. And speaking of that, you wrote a book about essentials, 75 answers to common questions about essential oils. I'm going to pick that book up, as
Thank you.
as another book about just vegan, gluten-free eating. You got a cookbook and a workbook.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm excited to, I'll put the links for those on my podcast page as well, because I'm so excited for people to get to know you.
Thank you.
Get to know what it is that you bring. And the fact that you're a doctor. You worked in you're a pharmacy doctor. And you definitely know, medicines. And so I love this holistic approach.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of varied background, and I did want to approach the book, the essential oil book. I really wanted to create a reasonable and rational discussion about essential oils, because I feel like a lot of people out there, the writings are either very dogmatic and just, they don't work, stay away from them, they're stupid. Or there's the opposite end of the spectrum, which is like, they do everything. They're so good for everything. And so I didn't want the book to be either one of those things. I wanted it to be a rational discussion of essential oil data and how do we use it in our daily lives. And so I wanted to answer the questions that people ask me the most often. How do you travel with an essential oil? Can you put it through an x-ray scanner at the airport? Can I carry it onto an airplane? And then answering tougher questions like, I've had an estrogen linked cancer. Can I use essential oils? I wanted a rational discussion in between, where sort of the domineering side of the domineering side of Western medicine met that kind of like esoteric, kumbaya kind of vibe. I wanted it to be different than both of those.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, definitely. And that's, normally that's what I've encountered is essential oils is so good. And I'm like, why? Tell me why. And no one never really tell me why, but you've really done a good job of really bringing it basic to me. You made it simple, like your motto says. You made it very simple for me to be able to understand what essential oils really can, the benefits of it for me. So
thank you.
Love it.
Well, now, and if you wanted to get essential oils, or if anybody in your audience did, that's quick and easy. I could help you out doing that. All you have to do is just head to Bitly. It's a Bitly sign up. And so it's bit.ly, and then it's just sign up with LKE, and you can grab your essential oils right there. Oh, love it.
I will definitely put that on my website, bit.ly.
I just put it in our chat, so you have it right there.
Got it. Okay, awesome.
Perfect.
And I will definitely put that on the website. So if anyone wants to at least try it, definitely, I would recommend that people definitely just give it a try and see where it can really help. You mentioned something else that I think would be great. My grandkids, I have a 10-year-old in school, and sometimes he has difficulty focusing. So I know there's an essential oil that can help him in that area. And that way I could introduce my daughter to that and put a diffuser in his room while he's studying and some other things, so
Absolutely.
yeah.
And there's actually essential oils that are designed specifically for kids. And so kids are more sensitive to essential oils. Their skin is a little bit more sensitive than adults. And so most people, when they use essential oils around children, they want to dilute them in some carrier oils. So you can easily find essential oils that are diluted in something like a fractionated coconut oil or jojoba oil that's going to be safer for children. But
okay.
Even this one that I've got here, this is a blend that's got some great essential oils for focus. So oils like basil, like rosemary and peppermint, all great essential oils for focus that can really help when you're studying or also help if you're in that afternoon slump at work.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So Lindsey's got a ton of information on her site at lindseyelmore.com.
Yes.
And she is giving you a free gift from there. I'll put the link on my podcast page for her as well. She's giving you a free Empowered Choice ebook.
Yes.
And I think that ebook will really speak more to your 7-step guide, right?
Absolutely. Yes. That is the content that's there in the book, is 7 steps to making powerful choices that honor your highest purpose and your spirit.
Yes. And Lindsey, I know I asked you about what one of your favorite quotes were, and you said, I love this. Oh, I so love this. This so speaks to me. Show up, add value, no drama.
Yes. I mean, oh my gosh. I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary Misrepresentation. If you haven't, I very strongly recommend it. It's about the misrepresentation of women in the media. And there's a scene there of the senators, female senators talking, and they are laughing about the fact that when they are in session, they say, if we could just get the men out of the room, the women could decide this in no time flat. I think that we have to all, as women, band together to overcome the myth that women are naturally in competition with one another. Stop gossiping. Stop talking bad about somebody behind their back. Just cut it out. Every single day, in every way possible, show up, add the most value that you can, and don't bring any drama to the table. And we will all get along better for it.
I love that. Yes. I vote for that, Lindsey.
Yes.
When I encounter women, and I'm a coach, so when I encounter women, that's one of the things that I tell them. There is no competition here. I may connect with someone that does the same thing that I do, but they may do it in a different way. So I'm happy to send you someone that doesn't resonate with me. Hey, here's someone else you can try.
Yep.
So I totally agree. You show up, you bring value, no drama. Oh, I so love that.
Yes, absolutely. Women are powerful beyond our own knowledge. We just have to believe it. We just have to believe it.
Yes. So, Lindsey, we're coming. It has been great having you today.
Thank you.
To the end of the interview here. You've given just so much value today. Definitely, I will have all of her information on my podcast page. She gave me links to the free gift, to where you can find her on social media, to her website, to the club. Please check all of that out. I am in this season of my life where I am encouraging other women to take really good care of themselves.
Yes.
Because, as you get older, you want to enjoy that life. You don't want to be ridden with health issues. So I'm definitely encouraging you to check out everything that Lindsey has to offer. Now, before we leave, Lindsey, I would like for you to give my audience one action tip that they can put in place today for better health, for better sound mind. Give them something that they can use.
Wow. I could go so many different directions. But I'm sure plenty of people are get more sleep, drink more water. All of that's great, but ultimately, believe truly in your heart of hearts that you are enough. And that is all that matters. You are enough. And if you truly believe that, the rest of it will fall into place. You deserve every single blessing that the universe is ready to hand you if you stop putting up barriers to receiving. Just receive it, make space for it. You are enough. You deserve it.
Ah, that was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We do that way too often. We don't think we're worthy.
We do it all the time. We do it all day, literally every single day. We tell ourselves that we're not good enough. But, if you don't believe that you're enough, who else will? And we're at a time of crises where women are being heard for the first time about how much brutality we've been through, how, just all the ways that we've been mistreated. And if you don't love yourself, it's like RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love anybody else? And that is so true. It is so, so true. If you don't value your life, who else will?
Yes, beautifully said. Thank you so much. Great having you here, Dr. Elmore.
Thank you.
Love what you're sharing with my audience, and I'm sure that this podcast episode will bless a lot of women in their journeys to better health.
Hey, I hope so. If just one person hears something, I hope it does. I hope it impacts people in a great way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you, audience, for checking me out. Me and Lindsey here at Inspired Women, Amazing Lives podcast. Share this episode with another woman that needs it or someone that inspires you. And have a wonderful, amazing day.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Inspired Women, Amazing Lives podcast, where we help women to be truly inspired to live their most amazing lives. Please subscribe to the podcast to be notified of new content each and every week. Feel free to like, comment, and share with a woman who inspires you most. I hope to see you on the next episode. Goodbye.